So you've all heard of the teenage climate activist Greta Thunberg. I believe she's 18 now maybe, but she did gain notoriety when she was in her teen years for doing school strike for climate change. I believe on Fridays she kind of made a little cardboard sign and sat outside of, is it the Parliament building? And just going on strike for climate change to raise awareness. This movement, for some reason, gained a lot of traction. I believe she did it for about a year before it gained any traction, but then it got really big. And I don't mean for some reason. I mean, obviously, climate change is an issue, but there are a lot of people doing that type of work every day, and it just happened to be hers is the one that kind of blew up and got big. Today, I'm going to give you an example of why I was actually the original Greta Thunberg. Not really, but I was one of those children who cared a lot about the environment. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. If not, welcome back. Be sure to subscribe because it's free. Give this a thumbs up and leave a comment. I talk a lot about just the environment and charity and being good to the earth, I guess. So what I found is this newspaper clipping from when I was in first grade. I used to kind of have this displayed like on my dresser, but I guess as I, moved out of my childhood house and packed up all my stuff, this just kind of got put away. I guess I didn't really feel the need to have this on my dresser anymore, but this is in my nightstand and that's where I found it. So there's a little story behind this. Obviously, my mom cut it out of the newspaper and framed it for me. When I was in first grade, so we're talking like 1991, 1992. I think I was in first grade from 91 to 92. I very distinctly remember this because I was like a little bit traumatized. So we were doing a worksheet. We're all kind of sitting there in the classroom. I have very few memories of my childhood, but I remember this because I guess it was like a little bit traumatizing. And I don't remember what the worksheet was. All I know is I think I like finished it and I got bored, so I flipped it over and I started writing like a poem, but not really a poem. And so I wrote out this whole thing on the back of the worksheet, and there was like a teacher assistant or someone that wasn't the teacher came up behind my shoulder and was reading what I was writing on the back of my worksheet and took it from me and showed the teacher. So of course I thought I was in trouble, and I'm like a massive rule follower. I have always been a rule follower from the time I was born. So of course I thought I was in trouble. And then the teacher came over to me and was like, hey, can you stand up in front of the classroom and read what you wrote? And I thought I was in trouble again. I was like, oh my God. You know how teachers, like, if you're writing a note to someone and you pass a note, well, I guess kids don't do that anymore because they just text. But anyway, if you write a note to someone and you pass it to someone and the teacher catches you, they'll open it up and they'll read it in front of the whole class, or, they'll make you read it in front of the whole class. I guess I thought that's what was going on. I don't really know if I had experience with passing notes in first grade, but I definitely thought I was in trouble. So I had to go up in front of the classroom and read this poem to everyone, and before I read it, I think the teacher sensed that I looked really scared and nervous and told me that I wasn't in trouble, that she really liked it and wanted me to read it. So I read it. I did not put a title on it, so this is the title I guess the newspaper would have put in. So after I read it, my mom came to pick me up at the end of the day, and the teacher asked if she could send it to the local newspaper. So this was published in my city, my hometown, my home city newspaper. I mean, it was technically a city, but like a small city. Anyway, they gave it the title, Please Save Our Earth and All Those Up on It. So this is what I wrote legit in first grade, 1991, 92. Love our mother, love the earth. Walk as much as you can. Don't drive cars. Stop polluting the air. We care about the trees and flowers and animals and ourselves and birds and butterflies and much more. It is a small world. We don't have many animals left now. We have to stop killing animals or there will be none left. Stop cutting down our trees. Do not litter. Pick up litter. Help the homeless. The writer is a first grade student at the J.J. Jennings School, which that school doesn't exist anymore. Because the school consolidated a bunch of the smaller elementary schools and made bigger ones. But anyway, yeah. So I was the original Greta Thunberg. if climate change was on people's radar in 1991 or 1992, I probably would have been a lot more famous. But this was just kind of a little section in a relatively small newspaper, and yeah, I was really earthy crunchy for a 6-year-old. I have a late birthday, so I was like 5 when I started first grade. My birthday's in November, and then I turned 6. So I was really earthy crunchy for a 5 and 6-year-old. And yes, this is totally me. Also, I was very advanced in reading and writing and spelling, so I mean, I'm not claiming that I spelled all of these words right, but I definitely knew what I was talking about. So yeah, there you have it. I was the original Greta Thunberg, and I would have been so much more famous if climate change was on people's radar back in 1991 or 92.